Right. Smile.
Smile.
Like pretend you're having fun. There you go.
Then they left Turkey when she was like 13, and they moved to Argentina and went there for a few years.
Now,
and then they moved here.
a couple of other people and a couple of the other questions that we've had a lot this week. Somebody asked, why are vessels or sailing vessels or Navy ships always referred to as she? And there's quite a few theories. One cargo vessel. One of the unique features about it is it has 4 masts. It's a bark, as I mentioned. It's now flagged in Russia. The reason for that, it was taken as war reparation during World War II, just after World War II. One of the other things it has is you notice the little checkerboard style along its sides. Those are fake gun ports. Being a cargo vessel, it was trying to disguise the fact that it was not armed, or that it was armed, to pirates. There have been pirates ever since anybody took to the sea. I'm sure as a cargo vessel she also had some weaponry on board, but she tried to disguise herself as a man of war. She's a very large vessel. She's the tallest tall ship in the harbor. Her masts go up 174 feet. And she is 376 feet long. For those of you on the stern now, just popping into view, directly across and behind that passenger vessel that just pulled out is the Cisne Bronco. She is a full-rigged ship. She has a little bit different sail configuration. She only has 3 masts, but she's classified as a different type of ship because all her masts are square rigged.
That's nice, huh?
Now it gets a little bit confusing. Some of it gets a little confusing, but because you have to know what are their main sails, the main source of propulsion on that mast. And I'll point that out as we go along. But when you see the Cisne Bronco from Brazil, you'll notice that she does have one small fore and aft sail on her rearmost mast. It's the main source of propulsion on that mast.
Godzilla.
That's the most important, and that's why she's a full-rigged ship. Her main sails on the rear mast, and you can see 3 or 4 booms going across her mast, or across her boat. Those are the main sails, and that makes her a full-rigged ship. Now, a couple of people, and by the way, when we move about, you don't have to run side to side. Everything we see on the right will be repeated for the left as we spin or turn around, and vice versa. Everything on the left will be seen on the right as we spin and turn around. So anyway, if you look back down in on the starboard side, for those of you on the right-hand side, and look up into the rigging of the cruising stern, you may notice that she's got some damage. She snapped part of her mast on her cruise over from the Canary Islands to Bermuda. We're just hopeful that none of the crew were in the rigging at that time, because they would have then been thrown clear of the boat. Those young sailors, as I mentioned before, must climb all the way to the top of the mast. It's a rite of passage. They then, if you can see the lines, the black lines that are underneath those booms, those are the parts that go across the mast. They put their feet on those and they lean over. As everybody's watching up here, they kind of lean over that boom and hug it. They then shuffle their feet to get to the very end of that boom. There'll be 4 or 5 on each side at the top. The larger masts on the closer to the deck may require as many as 6 or 7 guys across. That's how they set sails and take down sails. When they take down a sail, they're leaning over and in unison. They pull it up, they lean on it, they pull it up, they lean on it, and eventually they have it all bundled under them They then tie it off or refit to that boom. Now it looks like we're gonna be one of the next ones in. She is 328 feet long, and she trains officers for the Romanian Navy. She was also, at one point, a part of the German Navy. Remember her design. Even though she has slightly different configurations and slightly different look at the details along her deck with her scooped-like look at the bow and stern of her deck plating. That's because she's one of the similar vessels to the Großflock fleet, which included the Sagres in front of her and the Eagle upriver. So just kind of notice that. It's where the yellow striping ends. Just look at how it's scooped at that area. She's a bark, 328 feet. You know she's a bark because she has 3 or more masts. Her first 2 masts are square rigged. The sails go side to side. Her rearmost mast has sails that go from bow to stern. It's a great look at the difference between a bark and a full rig ship for those of you on the left-hand side. And those of you on the right will see that on our way out. On the starboard side right now, is the Libertad. She claims she's the largest sailing vessel in the world. Now, she's 356 feet. The cruiser stern's 376. But the crews are arguing back and forth because the cruiser stern is a cargo vessel, and the Libertad from Argentina is claiming that's not a sailboat. She's claiming she's the largest sailing vessel in the world. She has an impressive sail area of about 29,000 square feet. She's 356 feet long. She carries a crew of 357, and she is also a full-rig ship. That's because she has 4 masts, 4 booms on her rearmost mast. Even though she has 1 boom that sticks out, we give her another sail. Her predominant sail is full rig. So for those of you on our main deck, our top deck, that can see both ships, you see a little bit of difference between the configuration. On our right-hand side, the West Island College of Canada, the class afloat. These folks go out, instead of taking a semester abroad, like a lot of college students do now, we do a semester or 2 at sea. By the way, as we pass these vessels, look under the bowsprit. That's the part that looks like a mosquito stinger that's facing out towards you. And look at the intricate work under their bowsprits. The College Afloat, the Concordia, she's from Canada. She actually spends her time in Barbados, Bridgetown, Barbados. She is a barking team. 1 square rig mast, the other 2 fore and aft. Her masts, or her sails on her foremost mast when they're set, actually have a red maple leaf, which is quite impressive, which is coming to with you. One of the prettiest vessels in the fleet. And if you look at her deck and notice the similar design to the boat behind her with the yellow stripe, this is the Sagres II. One of the gentlemen climbing into the rigging is probably going to make some adjustments. He's got his safety harness on, but he is climbing the foremost mast. The Sagres II is impressive for a number of reasons. She is one of the most meticulously maintained tall ships. You can see how impressive her brass bell is. That takes a lot of work to get her to look that neat and shiny. We're going to spin around now, and for those of you on the bow, you're going to see